Hey nerds, have you ever stopped to think that behind every power, there's a vulnerability that borders on the absurd? Get ready to discover how even the biggest pop culture icons have their Achilles heels, and the most, well, nonsensical ones, let's say. Superman has kryptonite, for example. They can't just go around doing whatever they want without any limitations. Something has to stop them, right? And for some reason, writers and screenwriters ran out of ideas for new weaknesses, and now anything goes, even the color yellow for Green Lantern. That's why we've put together a list of some ridiculous and nonsensical superhero weaknesses. So let's get to it without further ado. We start with one of the greatest heroines of all time, a symbol of strength and resistance, Wonder Woman. Besides being the person who keeps the Justice League from turning into a male parade, she transcended comics, became a feminist icon, an Amazon warrior who doesn't take any nonsense. But believe it or not, for a long time, our dear Diana had a weakness that would make any villain laugh. Back in the day, it was common to think that the more goodness, the better the superhero would be. And so Wonder Woman's creator tried his best to put that into her character. But he did something perhaps a bit unnecessary. Back in the 40s, Wonder Woman's creator, in an attempt to emphasize the character's goodness, inserted a rather unnecessary condition. If her hands were bound by a man, she would completely lose her powers. Yes, you heard that right. And the most bizarre thing is that it only worked if a man held her. Women tying her up? No problem. A man? Goodbye super strength. This craziness lasted until the 80s, even going through the classic 70s TV series. Imagine the scene. Wonder Woman saving the world, but she trips on a shoelace and some random guy ties her up, and boom, she's a regular person. That wouldn't last a minute these days.
Wonder Woman's feminism, we jump to the, let's say, the phallic side of the Marvel Universe. Yes, we're talking about the mighty Thor and his inseparable Mjolnir. With super strength, flight, control over lightning, and even magical abilities, Thor is one of the most powerful superheroes in comics. All these powers are derived from his enormous hammer, if you know what I mean. But he also has a weakness that transforms him from a god into a limping medical student. It would be naive to believe that Thor's hammer doesn't have a phallic nature. The rule was clear. If Thor let go of his hammer for more than 60 seconds, he would lose his divine status and transform into his human alter ego, Dr. Donald Blake, a lame doctor with a lame leg and a superiority complex. And the hammer, it would turn into a fragile cane. To make matters worse, Thor's secret identity, medical student Donald Blake, is basically a younger version of the character Dr. House, complete with a lame leg, a skinny physique, and a boring superiority complex. Think about it. Thor is one of the most powerful heroes of all, but he can't even sleep without holding his hammer firmly under the covers. Unless he wants to go to sleep as Thor and wake up as Donald Blake. But that's besides the point. This weakness wouldn't be a huge problem if Thor's main crime-fighting method wasn't throwing his hammer great distances. Normally, it comes back on its own, but the only thing his enemies have to do is make sure that doesn't happen. And then, Thor is completely screwed. This happened more times than you can imagine. Oh, and if someone happens to pick up Thor's hammer and is worthy while it's returning to its owner's hands, that person becomes the new Thor and gains all the hero's powers. Eventually, this 60-second weakness of Thor was removed through complex mystical methods, but it led to some pretty ridiculous moments. Do you think this weakness made sense for a god?
Now let's talk about Venom. Venom is one of the deadliest and most terrifying villains in comics, at least when he's not played by someone from the Dead 70s show. If Spider-Man's powers are a metaphor for Peter Parker going through puberty, Venom shows the other side, representing the time Parker became addicted to hard drugs and ended up robbing his own aunt for crack money. Yes, that actually happened. So how do you stop a symbiotic assassin who knows everything about you, has ties to all your enemies, and hates you as much as the inverse of the greatest love in the world? The answer is
A $2 Bic lighter. That's right, nerds. According to Marvel's own website, Venom is extremely vulnerable to heat and loud noises. We're not talking about an industrial flamethrower, but a simple matchstick or a lighter. There's stories where Spider-Man was saved from Venom by a random guy with a cheap lighter. The symbiote simply completely loses its powers, and its clothes literally jump off the host's body in complete terror. The question that remains is, why doesn't Spider-Man carry one of these in his pocket? Think of the absurd scenarios. Venom can't cook on a stove, only microwaves. New Year's Eve must be endless suffering for him. Even other villains make fun of him because of this. Isn't it one of the most ridiculous weaknesses ever created?
So nerds, what did you think of our list of superhero weaknesses that defy logic? Which of these weaknesses do you consider the most absurd? Or do you remember any others we left out that are even more ridiculous? Share your opinions and suggestions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through the bizarre world of comics, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more quality geek content, and activate notifications so you don't miss the next videos. See you next time, nerds!